Good morning. Today we're going to be continuing the project that we had started with refinishing this cutting table, and we've already applied 4 layers of cherry wood gel stain from Minwax, and now we're about to prepare the surface for spar urethaning. And what people tend to recommend is using the Purdy bristle, and I already ran a test with this without this, and found out that it's easier to just use a rag, because the problem with using a brush is you can get too much spar urethane and then create bubbles. So I think it's just easier to use a rag and apply a very light coat. So what I'm doing is I got this dollar store rag, and I'm just cutting it into small pieces. The idea is to use the least amount of spar urethane as possible. So I'm just using this dollar store rag, and I'm creating several pieces. So I can apply the coat as light as possible. So I have several pieces, and I'll use these. Before you get started with that though, you want to make sure you sand your surface, and I recommend a 3M 320 grit. Now you can already see that the cut here, hopefully you don't want to get any of this stuff. So you also get a compressor so you can blow off anything, and then a wet rag to wipe off the. So you can take your sandpaper, and just, if you can, make some small pieces that you can use. Because you're gonna wind up getting a lot of your stain on this stuff, and it'll become useless. So I'm just cutting some small pieces out, and we're gonna basically use this very light sandpaper to smooth out the surface of the table. And what happens is you get this dust on the surface, so, and you pick up some residual stain, which ruins the sandpaper. The other thing you want to be sure of is to wear an N95, because this stuff is super toxic. If it gets in your lungs, it'll coat it and cause potentially cancer. Again, the important thing is this is a milky substance, and it can coat your lungs just from the vapors, and also the dust if you're sanding this. So just keep a very super light coat, and you should be fine. The goal is just to waterproof. It's not to create a layer of like film, it's not for looks. It's simply for waterproofing. So you just do as thin a layer as you can, because the hydrophobic nature of this stuff will keep the water off. You don't need to go overkill. Just tiny amounts. Even if you miss a spot, it's better than overdoing it and getting it ugly looking with like air bubbles. Just keep it real thin, super light. I don't think you need multiple coats. Maybe 2 coats at most. They recommend 3, but as long as you keep it super light, super thin. And you can apply anything. You can use a brush or a rag. Paper towels also work. The problem with paper towels is that they tend to, the little particles start to shred off. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing here. So again, you want to do just sand very lightly. I recommend circular motions. You're just basically smoothing the surface. That's all. Because you want the surface top to be smooth. You're not doing anything more. You're just taking the rough edges off. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing for the whole table. And thank you for watching. Please watch the next video. Thank you.